Hi, welcome back to Recreating Quest Starting Adventure with me. We're starting this episode working on Starting Town, named such because it's a hub for adventurers and is linked with many different places. At the beginning of the episode, the town you saw on screen was the original Starting Town, but I decided since it was more of a hub that I wanted a bigger main area, where people would gather or meet up. This location is complete with a quest board. This town will have houses, desire paths, plenty of shops, and an inn. The original town only had one working shop, with the excuse that everybody else was gone because it was the off-season. This time I've added more shops, and I've also changed it so they will update their items depending on where you are in the story. So you can get better items as you continue in your quest. When I copy over shops from the other version of Questing Adventure, I have to make sure to delete items that don't exist anymore. When working on auto tiles, as I am doing now, if you press down the shift key, you get its full tile, so it becomes useful if you want something over another thing on the same layer, like I have the desire paths of the market, without erasing the paths or changing how they look when they connect. Starting Town has a lot of people who pass through, so the inn is quite large. I like how the inn looks in the other game, so I'm going to go ahead and copy-paste it to the new game. /G will allow players to see how much money they have when the innkeeper asks if they want to stay the night. I also copy over the rooms of the inn. The upper floor was quite long, so I shortened it up and then moved the stairs so they would be closer together. Then I have to go through all of the maps I copied in so that they take the player to the right place. While doing this, I realized that I have the same number of houses in both versions of the game. So, with some copying and pasting, I have all of the house maps of Starting Town done. Then, I connect the house maps with Starting Town and back again with some doors. I love it when this happens. It makes mapping so much easier. But at one point in time, I did make all these maps from scratch, so it's fine. I gotta make sure they all lead to where I want them to go. Nice. Okay. Nicely done. I do also want to switch. Right now they're all action. I want to switch them so they're player touch. Okay, but that works. They all lead to the correct places. After testing the doors, I switch all of the door events to player touch. So the player can now just walk into the door and it'll open without them pressing any other keys. Then, because I have more stores and a limited number of items, I assign each shopkeep their own specialty, including, but I don't think limited to, potions, weapons, chest armor, hats, and jewelry. I also want each shopkeep to say something to the player when interacted with, so I add that in too. After some trees, next up is the quest board. At first I wanted a way to accept the quests from the board and then it would read with the ones you haven't done, but I got rid of that plan pretty quickly since it would take a lot of event tabs and connections and checks, and I didn't want to deal with that. You could probably do this through scripts, and I have found some questing scripts that I liked alright, but decided not to go with any of them. I add the man who is looking for music pages since he is in Starting Town and change his quest reward a little bit because I'm planning on making the pages more plentiful and easier to find near the beginning of the game, while previously you had to explore a lot of the different maps and it took a lot of backtracking to get all of his pages. In the system menu, I add in states and animations that were present in the other version of the game. During this time, since I'm thinking of it and I'm in the menu anyway, I begin to transfer over armors and items as well. I will also go through skills, assigning them and changing some levels of when skills are learned. If you're wondering about the empty spots in the skill list, those are there to remind me of skills not made yet. Each class gets 4 custom skills for their class, and some of the classes I made don't have that many. I want to adjust it so that they do. Finally, we're on to the characters who can become party members, or the actor tab. Again, most of them will be transferred over, but some will get a few adjustments and some get left behind. I don't have the graphics for all of the characters imported yet, but I'll have most of them in the next couple of minutes. Some of them are characters from the RPG Maker, some of them are recolors, and a few are custom. I've got the houses, the tavern, and 3 possible quests with 1 setup finished. I just need to put the items to find around the different maps and it'll be complete. Then I add Jack to the game. Jack is your first long-term party member. Alex is the first one who joins your party, but they leave in the next town after starting town. Jack, on the other hand, is always available to have in your party. I want to have an event explaining more details about your quest that is in between the forest and starting town. I've added this to the inn, where Kaye will meet up with you and Alex. Kaye won't join your party at this time, but will in a few more towns. Because she's going to go find the artifact, which I think she'll fail to do. She'll join up with your team, and then you'll find the artifact together. Or maybe she'll find it herself. I don't know. I haven't decided. I know the main storyline of what I want to happen, but a lot of details like this I haven't worked out. I usually kind of work them out as I make maps because it's just easier for me like that. Because either way, no matter what I decide to do, you will get the artifact and you will use it. So it doesn't matter as much how I make sure you get it. At least in my head, that's how it works. I'll skip over a lot of the work here, as much of Kaye's dialogue is a repeat of Alex's. When I add the graveyard to the town, the graves are events. Some tile sets have graves on them, but this one doesn't. I fill the bottom right with tables and chairs, a little picnic area for the townspeople, and a gathering space as well. Now it is time to leave town. The first path, called the Path to Greatness, is now longer than it was in previous versions, with both Diana, your second companion, if you complete her quest, and Solitar on it. You can also run into Nitya for the first time here. I also take some time to work on the connecting town, the burned town, with Lena. You can also get Lena in your party, if you're smart with your choices. My goal is to transition to the next town, Seaside. Unlike the maps I'm working on now, which are mostly copied from the other versions of the game, I make Seaside from scratch. I want to combine 2 tile sets for this, mostly for the boats, but I'll use some of the other assets as well. RPG Maker XP doesn't have a tile set size limit, so there are several maps that I'll make that are 2 maps combined. The longest part of this process is making sure that everything is set up correctly in the menu. I usually take pictures with my phone of my computer screen of the separate maps, so I know how to set them up in the combined one correctly. Seaside is the town where Alex leaves the party. This leaves you with only 1 to 3 party members, depending on who you've talked to or how lucky you are. My mistake, you can actually get 4 party members. This would be Jack in starting town, Diana at the beginning, Diana and the Path to Greatness, Lena in the Burn Town, and Nitya also in the Path to Greatness. But for her, it's a random join, so you have to be really lucky. This town will give you the first opportunity to talk to your party members as well. During times like this, you can gain insights to your party members' feelings and goals. As you travel and complete quests, they will start to open up and tell the hero more about themselves. The hero must choose who they trust by the end of the game, so taking the time to talk to party members during times like this will be helpful to that goal. I also want to give each party member a quest for you to do, though not all of them are planned out or in the game yet. When the quests are in the game, talking to them will give you access to that quest or a way to find or unlock it. This will be through hints for the more closed off or secretive members and requests directly from the more open ones. Now that the town's pretty much done, I make sure every house has a door and that the inside event is connected to the town. The only thing left for me to do here is to make a few adjustments to the houses and add some signs so people know where the stores are. Next up, we're going to work on the mountain path. This is where you'll meet another party member, Ariadne. Ariadne is one of the party members where you don't have a choice if she joins or not. The text box will give you the option yes or no, but she will always make you say yes, no matter what you actually choose. This path is also where you are forced to backtrack for the first time if you haven't already gotten the information broker from the inn, since you can't get past this area without her card. There was some time between the last recording and this one. During that time, I copied over several of the maps from the previous version of the game to this version. I do a quick click through of the maps that I copied over, and now we've made it past the capital city. Sorry I don't have any footage of the making of the city, but making maps is similar each time. I showed the castle that I've put an event there that you can't get past, since I don't want the player trying to go to the castle. If for some reason they do make it past, there's no really any harm because there's no more maps and nothing will happen. I've also made a custom sprite and battler for Alex. Alex is a recolor of one of the RPG Maker's characters with some adjustments to the battler, and given a backpack as well, since they're a merchant. After passing through Snowbell, the town in between Seaside and here, you learn that Kaye couldn't get the artifact, but she knows that you need to go to the Magician's Temple to look for it. The temple is located to the right of the capital past the woods. I add in one more problem to get past, as the Magician's Temple was blocked off due to an experiment that cost the lives of all the mages inside. It's full of monsters, ghosts, and the paths change around, though the changing paths would be added quite a while later. In order to get through, you need written permission to get past the guard. With Kaye with you, it's not too hard, it just takes some time. I actually put in 2 forest maps since I want there to be a transition going to the temple, since the temple, or more accurately now, the college, is a somber place where magic is in flux and people have died. Having 2 maps makes the transition easier, though I could have just made one big map with both tile sets as one. I prefer to do 2 maps in a situation like this because everything in the corner, how I have the maps laid out, wouldn't have been used. Now I can add the guard and the text telling you that you can't get past without permission. I've hit a good place with maps up to this point, so I'm going through all the maps I have to make some quests, check dialogue. The battles still have some old information that I don't use anymore from the previous version, and some other little things like that. Oh, and if you're wondering why Alex looks the way it does even after I've added in the new character and battler for them, it's because this is an old save and it hasn't updated. With that, I hope you have a good day, evening, night, whatever it is, and remember to eat well, sleep well, and drink lots of water. Bye!